So the monster lands right in front of Isol. After they talk for a second and he realizes she's a monster, he's just happy that there's somebody he can communicate with. So when one of the giant centipedes tries to attack her, he just swats that shit away like a fly. Of course, she's shook because she couldn't even damage it. Now, before we speak, it seems like I gotta get rid of the monsters that don't know how to scram. So he just takes off, destroying the ground and just kicking right through another one. They weren't all just fighting their hearts out. Suho's just confused because why is a monster killing monsters? And then one of them goes to eat him, but actually kind of manages to do it. Then bro just starts punching his way out from the inside and just exploding his head, basically, as he says, "I hate bugs." Of course, all the hunters don't know what to do because they were told this was supposed to be a C or B rank dungeon. But all the monster sees is more people he can't communicate with. So he just springs right in to attack the hunters. So the bonded Suho has to fly in. Hey bro, you really about to kill him because y'all can't communicate? What kind of shit is that? Don't you got any sense of values? He's like, oh, so there are humans I can talk to. Values, you say? Well, I've never thought about them. He says as he throws another haymaker, knocking a bunch of rocks and debris everywhere. And I didn't think he caught him, but he actually rocked Suho's shit. He coughing up blood and it indented the wall. So of course, Isol screams for him, saying, how dare you touch the young monarch? So he's like, is this your companion? This isn't much of an apology, but at least I won't kill you. If you're a member of the demon race, then you should know quite a lot. It would be nice if you could relieve my curiosity. And he asks her who won the war, the Shadow Monarch or the other monarchs. She's just confused why this monster knows about all this. She doesn't really answer, but forget all that. Suho really just got one-shotted, both him and Gray at once. So Biru's trying to check on him as the monster keeps talking like, welp, whether it's a monster that doesn't understand me or a demon that refuses to respond. If we can't communicate, then I'm going to kill you. So he goes to gom stomp her ass. Bro is really on life alert, but he saved a status recovery. He's just thankful he's been holding on to his rewards. He says all the monarchs were killed at the hands of the Shadow Monarch, of course. He turns around like, for real? You're saying that while I've been trapped in this place, the war has come to an end? Suho confirms, then figures if he's asking about the war between the monarchs, then he might be another monarch's kin. Like, just his strength is at least that of an S rank. But he's like, damn, in the end, the Shadow Monarch won the war. If he killed all the monarchs, that means the monarch of the Iron Body has died by his hands as well. Suho's just looking at him and his name above his head. He's called Ammut, but since he mentioned the Iron Body Monarch, does he have like a metal body or some shit? And if he finds out who my father is, he might attack me. As he's thinking that, bro's already going for the kill. But Suho blurs his way up out of there and jumps back to get some distance. He's like, bro, what are you doing? Aren't we talking? He's like, nah, yo, you're taking too long. You must be thinking up a lie. If you don't answer quickly, I'll kill you. Now I'll ask you again. Did the Shadow Monarch kill the Iron Body Monarch? And he just confirms again, yes, he killed all the monarchs. Well, damn, now I know he's about to bug out. Then the monster says, I wondered why he no longer came looking for me. I guess he went to hell, huh? I should give the Shadow Monarch my regards. Suho's like, wait, aren't you the family of the Iron Body Monarch? He's like, me? His family? I don't like the sound of that at all, as he winds up this punch. And he tells Suho to die. Before he can follow through, these chains just spawn in and grab him. Even Suho's confused, like, I didn't do this shit. He's like, damn, I might have crossed the domain's range. The chains just constrict, pulling so hard it's destroying the ground, and start snatching him back down into the tomb. And the whole time he's screaming, damn you, Tarnok, and damn you, Spellcaster. Just damn. Of course, Suho has no clue what's going on. Whatever it is, it's a relief. Buddy was just way too strong. Now that we know he's here, we gotta be way more cautious. So we should heal everybody while we can. But as he's thinking that, something starts glitching with the system. The dimensional crack quest is changing. So she asks what's wrong, but the quest changed from solving the cause of the dimensional crack to freeing the heir of the Iron Body Ammut from the pyramid. He didn't want to be called the monarch's family, but he is the next in line. So they go down into the tomb where they see the corpses of the scavenger guild. Like, damn, so this is where they all went. He's just like, damn, I can't believe you came to look for me. You got some guts. He's like, bro, I came because I wanted to talk to you properly. But didn't we talk before? Nah, you can't call it a conversation when you were trying to kill me. Is that so? That was all I learned from Tarnok. If you have complaints, send them all to his rotting corpse. Suho's saying that he's violent, but it feels like he's looking at an honest child. Why I gotta recruit somebody like this? He asked, like, it seems like you don't like the last Iron Body Monarch. He's like, bruh, you came here to ask me about that? Since I'm always chained here, I might as well tell you. I am Ammut, and I was created by the Iron Body Monarch, along with a spellcaster, but they both abandoned me in this tomb. and they turned a normal man like me into this alligator monster. So I've been left in this tomb that's filled to the brim with the undead. I can't go anywhere because these chains restrict me. Suho asks, can't you break them? And he can, but they're made out of magic, so even when he does, they just reappear if he gets too far away. So he hasn't even been to the deepest part of the tomb. He says he'll never forgive Tarnak and the spellcaster for this torment he's been subjected to. He's thinking like, well, the quest tells me to free him, well, I gotta get rid of the chains one way or another. How can I do that if they just keep reappearing? As he looks closer, he sees that they're held in by stakes. But wait a minute, stakes? The monster's already here when you first got sealed? And he says, yeah. So that means that you aren't the master of the dungeon, right? And he says, yes. Well, have you ever seen a room with a large steel door in this tomb? And he says, I only know about it, but I can't go see because of these chains. Why are you bombarding me with all these damn questions? Suho's just confused, like, why would the dungeon master chain him up to one floor instead of letting him run all throughout the tomb? The chains just reappear at a set distance from here? Well, if my theory's right, if I free you from this place, will you listen to a request of mine? He's like, wait, you're saying you're gonna free me? Regardless of what happens, if you can free me, then I'll do whatever you say. Or are you saying you're gonna kill the spellcaster, or do you have a way to lift this spell? Because if you dare to speak such words as a joke, are you aware of what will happen to you? As he starts getting amped up, he's like, calm down, just listen before you make a decision. Now Suho's telling the heir of the Iron Body Monarch that he's going to free him. He's letting him know that you better not be playing with me or I'm gonna kill you. But bro, just calm down and hear me out. I'm going to make this dungeon collapse. You said you can't go to the deepest parts of the tomb because of your chains. If that's according to the spellcaster's intentions, it's probably because he doesn't want you killing the boss of the dungeon. And if the dungeon collapses after you kill the boss, what do you think will happen to the chain stakes after they lose their purpose? And wouldn't the chains lose all meaning? So he just sits there for a second like, what an entertaining idea. Biru's just over here crying. Like, why would you choose this uncivilized reptile to be by your side instead of me? But he's just swatting at him, saying that he's acting like a fruit fly. He's like, bro, stop fucking playing with me. Do you want to die by my full power? Just wait till I get my body back, yo. But he's like, anyways, who would have thought this child was the Shadow Monarch's son? And now him and Biru go as far down into the tomb as they can without the chains pulling him back. They just stand by hoping for Suho to beat the boss. Well, if he doesn't kill the boss, then that's a failure. And if the dungeon collapses but the chains don't release me, then that's a failure too. For some reason, I could feel the conviction in his voice as he told him, I'll get you out of here. But he's just thinking like, He thinks about Tarnak, his previous monarch. You claim that physical strength is the truth and created me, but even beings weaker than us can seem so big. So if it's that kid, then I might actually make it out of here. It shows Suho punching like a giant. He uppercutted him, knocked him out, and he fell down on his back. You know he gotta pose for the camera, and Isol gotta do her thing too. And now there's only one monster left. He's sitting way up here, and it's Sheikah, the tomb's warden. It cuts back to before Suho went in the boss's room. It really was as far as the chains would let bro go. He says the moment he has thoughts of leaving, the chains reappear. So Suho's like, damn, that shit's really crazy. But again, I was just trying to confirm it. We gotta do two things first. Me and Isol are gonna take out the boss of the dungeon, making the dungeon collapse, which will cause the chains to lose their function when the pillars are destroyed. And after that, Ammut will be freed from the chains and meet up with us. Then we can all just dip off into the shadow realm. Now Ammut asks if he messes one of those up, is the whole plan gonna fail? He's like, well, I do have a backup plan. Nah man, forget it. Whatever happens is better than me being trapped in here. Now it cuts back to Suho fighting the boss, and he has this sphere in his hand. I think he's using sand to attack them. So Suho flies in hot, with the sword in hand, and just slashes through the sand monster he made. And it just starts wrapping around him. Not the sand coffin. For real, he can't get close because of this sphere of sand. He at least got to be an A rank. I gotta hurry up and beat him before my mana runs out. But we see Isol run up and launch her spear like a javelin, and Suho uses his ruler's authority to accelerate it towards the boss. He just knocks that shit away like nothing. He calls for her to come use the bonding skill. She's like, finally my chance. And okay, Isol, this shit looks hard. And they learn that when she kills monsters, she absorbs their souls. And it increases the charging rate of this attack. And she's just happy she gets to show the results of the goblin hunting as she channels all of that energy into Suho. And he's just gathering it all around him in his approach, just ready to knock the boss's block off. But before he can, Isol hits the deck exhausted. Like, damn, so far I've only showed the young monarch how weak I am. Well, I hope that my bond skill will be of use to him as he follows through with this demon blast punch. And just the second he makes contact, I can't even call this a donut, bro. He just punched his whole midsection out of existence. Biru feels this while he's over with Ammut. Like, yo, the dungeon is collapsing. So Suho actually beat the boss. And the pillars start collapsing, so the stakes to the chain start coming out, and they all fall to the ground. So Biru's like, come on, we're going to the young monarch. And he's like, yes, I've finally been freed from Tarnok. Now he still has no idea why him and the spellcaster did all that to him. They would do excruciating experiments where Tarnok would destroy his body and the spellcaster would regenerate it. And the longer they would do it, the stronger he would become. But my mind wasn't able to handle that pain, so I dug out my own eyes and slowly transformed to enjoy the pain. And during all my suffering, only one wish kept me going. The desire to once again feel the majesty of the great nature which I saw when I was young. Okay, so he's a Jaegerist. He starts walking with Biru, just thinking about being free, but we see this glare behind him. It's the stakes themselves, like they start attacking him. Even Biru's worried, like, what the hell? And now all of the stakes are flying for him. Just that one was strong enough to make him cough up blood. So he starts cursing Tarnok and the spellcaster. Like, damn, yo, y'all rather kill me than let me go? Suho flies in and kicks him away, but that shit hurt his leg like the stakes ain't no joke. And they just keep flying at him crazy. So he's just fending them off, trying to figure out a plan. If they're just not letting him go, then I gotta move the stakes. And he starts kicking them down into his shadow realm. I think using his ruler's authority on them as well. Force them all down into his realm. He's watching like, damn, why are you doing all this? Because it's very clear how hard he's struggling. And as he's still hitting them, he feels like his bones can't take it anymore. So Ammut tags in and punches the stake for him. And now I understand why all the monarchs lost to the Shadow Monarch. Now all we need to do is get the stakes into this gate, right? Let's go ahead and give our last ditch effort together, sung Suho. The rest of the stakes fly at them as they charge up their attack to try and knock them all down into the portal. It just cuts to the passed out Iso slowly waking up on the ground. And Biru's the one checking to see if she's alright. But hold up, wait a minute. What happened to Suho and Ammut? And he just shushes her, saying, be quiet. We're both resting right now. So of course she lights up as the young monarch did his thing. It shows that we've recruited the heir of the Iron Body. And Suho leveled up, they completed the quest, gang gang gang.